I built this LS engine just to go inside my Jeep LJ, and it's almost wheeling season, so now I am in a hurry to get this job done. Now to do that, I have a few rules. I want the engine mounted high for clearance, but I want the body to stay low, so I have a low center of gravity looking build. Now that goes against everything that this motor mount manufacturer that I'm using recommends. But I'm gonna see if I can cheat the system and make it work anyway. Now I want this engine mounted in the engine bay first time go without any issues. Now to get that done, I decided to go with Dave's Customs motor mounts. The reason I went with them is because they came highly recommended on all of the LS forums, and look at their quality. These are extremely nice motor mounts. They actually come with a little key to make sure that you're dropping them in the perfect location on the frame, so it's a first time fitment. And they do build in a little bit of adjustability on where they go, so you can kind of fine tune where that LS ends up in the final run. Now the issue with using these is that because they mount the engine higher in the engine bay, what that causes is a little bit of interference with the firewall. Now to fix this, they recommend that you put a 1-inch spacer on top of your body mounts to raise the body up, raises the firewall up, and solves your problem of clearance. Like I said, I want to keep low center of gravity as much as possible, but I still like the idea of my engine staying up high. So I'm going to see if I can skirt by their rules, and I'm going to install some brand new body mounts. So I'm bringing the body's spacers, their factory spacers, back up to the original height. But at the same time, I think if I do a little bit of firewall modification, a little bit of massaging, I might be able to make this fit. So before we get started on cutting the frame, I'm going to lift the body up and I'm going to replace every one of these body mounts. Now I should only need to raise it up just a few inches to slide out the old one and the new one's in, and not have to raise it up more than that. Should be quick and easy. So these really turned out exactly like I was expecting. I mean, these are definitely crushed down a good bit and worn out. So there was no doubt they needed to be changed. So these are going to add a little bit of extra height and hopefully make it a softer ride again inside the Jeep. And it can't hurt to give it a shot. But I mean, with that extra squish expanded back out, and with the 3/16 of the plate steel from the rock sliders, hopefully I'm getting closer to that 1-inch back to where they think it needs to be. Because maybe their 1-inch included the expectation that maybe you've got worn out body mounts. It's worth a shot. So I've already hit the first roadblock, and I don't think it'll be a big one, but this side, the frame is just, I don't know if it's bent a little bit or what, but none of these are lining back up, and it is just so barely off. Got to figure out how to get these things to line up so I can lock the body down. I just knew it was going a little too fast already. Come on, work. Maybe? Aha! That's one. That's two. Come on, three. Yes. That's three. Now don't forget that it's really important to follow the manufacturer's specifications on what to torque these bolts back to. crown says that we should be torquing the fronts to dash foot-pound and the rears to dash foot-pound. So I'm going to get out my dash wrench and make sure that these are torqued to the right spec. All right, so now that I've made hopefully a little extra room going through this transmission tunnel and underneath the firewall, now it's time to clean this frame off. So I'm going to take a while. We're going to grind off all of these brackets, and while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and clean up some of the leftovers from some earlier modifications that I couldn't really get around all of the leftover gunk that was on the frame and that I just lazily left on there. But I'm going to clean that up, I'm going to clean the frame rails up, and we're going to get ready to put these new motor mounts on. That's two. That took way more work than I actually expected it to, but both brackets are now gone and the frame is almost ready for me to put the new brackets on. Almost. And here's the thing. Dave's mentions that the steering pillow does need modification to be able to use their frame mounts where they want you to put them. And I quote, it says, modifications to this bracket will be necessary to reinstall it once the new engine mounts are installed. And that's it. That's your instructions on how to modify the steering. So it's up to you to figure out how to do this. So I'm gonna figure out how to do this. Hey, stop right there. It's me from the future, and I need to let you know that going forward in this video, I'm still following the instructions that this motor mount manufacturer wanted me to follow as far as placement. But in the next video, I actually make my own changes, and it makes it work even better for my situation, and it might work better for yours too. So finish this one out, see how it turns out, and then meet me in the next video. I'll see you there. So now that I've got these in place, let me show you what I figured out about them. So I'm going to make this side really easy for you because all you need to do is lop this edge off straight down to make it fit very easily. So come to the top of this, measure 2 1/4 inches forward, and then cut yours straight down all the way along this thing here. And then just make a little relief cut down here at the weld. Just cut the weld off. You can leave the rest of this metal, but just cut the weld off down here. And you can slide this metal underneath it. And then you can just weld this to that. And it'll be so much easier. All right, so let's see. Next step is clearancing the firewall. We're gonna beat the hell out of the left side. We're going to cut off the pinch seam, or we're going to curl the pinch seam on the driver and the passenger side. And I think we're ready to test fit. Okay. Now we just got to get this thing down so that we can even get the engine inside. Okay, I think that should get it in theory. So I'm already hitting here, but I'm like a foot away from actually getting on the engine mounts. So we're not looking good on making this. Oh, come on. Oh, come on, it's so close. I have been doing my best impersonation of a primate screwing sporting equipment on this one, and I got it within 6 inches of going in. And I'm this close, but I just need it to be just a little bit longer. I mean, look at this. Mount, 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 mount. Just go, just go. Oh no. I was stuck and this thing's just hanging in the air, but I can't sleep. I've got to find a way to get this thing at least on these mounts so I know if I'm good. All right, so here's what I came up with. I was able to get it right up next to the motor mounts, right? I ran the bolt through one of the holes of the motor mount on the Jeep, and I think that's good enough to hold the engine. I've got the transmission supported with a jack, so it's balanced. And then I can reposition the hoist to the front of the engine, which will give me that few extra inches to push it back the rest of the way. I think it'll work. Okay. Okay. Come on, you. Come on, you. Yeah. Okay. There we go. We're really close. I mean, really close. Like an inch. So remember, I still don't know if this is even doable without a 1-inch body lift. And so it still may interfere. But it's so close. I know I can make it. I think we're getting it. Come on. Look at that. Oh, we're in. That's one, baby. Yes. Well, amazingly, it actually worked. It gave me just enough length to get this thing in, and now it's sitting on the new motor mount. So, what I've figured out is, yes, it does seem to fit inside the Jeep without a 1-inch body spacer. Looking it over right now, the transmission actually has tons of room under there for a Turbo 400 at least. Any other transmissions, I'm not sure, I can't tell, but I do know the Turbo 400, definitely lots of room to work with. The only thing that gets a little questionable is, yeah, right there. You see how close that gets? Right there. It may need some extra clearancing, but everywhere else is doing really well on spacing. So I'm not really thinking that we're gonna have to worry about that 1-inch body spacer after all. I mean, that's looking really good. This side actually has tons of room to work with. So what I'm thinking is that there are slits in these body mounts, in these frame mounts, that will actually allow it to shift from side to side. And so looking at it, it looks like if I shift it to the passenger side just a little bit, I should get all the clearance that I need and then some. So I would say this is a win. You don't have to do the 1-inch body spacer to get these mounts to work. So it's the middle of the night, but it's answered. Guys, thank you so much for sticking it out this long, because I never thought that setting this engine in was gonna be this much of a time-consuming thing, but that's okay. It makes it even more fun. But at least now you know that if you wanna go with the Dave's custom motor mounts to set your engine higher up in the engine bay for better lower clearance, you don't have to use that 1-inch body spacer if you take a few precautions and make some fine adjustments. That's it. So Thank you so much. If you liked this, make sure to subscribe because there's so much more that's going to be happening to get this build on the road, including wiring up the Turbo 400's manual gated shifter. We're making a custom center console. We've still got to build the wiring harness and so much more to come. So subscribe or watch one of the previous videos and I will see you next week.